Think about the last time you made a purchase. Maybe it was coffee, maybe you bought something online, on Amazon, whatever. Or maybe it was something even bigger. Maybe it was a car. What made you feel comfortable in handing over your hard-earned money for this one specific product? Whether you realize it or not, that one element is trust. Today, we're going to be breaking down why trust is the most important, the single most important element in any transaction. And this doesn't just apply to business. This applies to so many things. And what I specifically apply it to is relationship building. I think it's important to understand that trust isn't just this feeling that develops out of nowhere. It's not something that just manifests. Trust is something that is built. It is something that is utilized in your everyday lifestyle. So what is trust? Trust is the culmination of several things, but what it really boils down to is the ability to convey your message and back that up with real data or facts. When it comes to trust, I think that you can look at most businesses or business owners or people who have worked in sales, and they will tell you the same thing, that if trust is not there, you are not going to be able to close. And the reason that is because trust is the foundational piece that allows you to build on everything else that you want to be able to expound on. Let's look at our personal lives. Think about the type of coffee you drink. Think about the car that you drive. Think about the computer you use, the phone you use. Anything that you use on a day-to-day basis typically has formed some level of trust between you and them. Those companies have proven to you that it's worth investing your time, your money, and anything else into acquiring a piece of what they have to offer. And in exchange, they give you something that you can trust and utilize. Let's look at how we even look at the way we eat somewhere. Typically, if we're going to go eat somewhere, it's either one, a place that we went to before, two, a place that was recommended by someone we trust, or three, we do our own research, whether it's through Yelp or Google reviews or whatever it is. For me, it's Yelp. Personally, if you know me, I have like 1 billion Yelp bookmarks of places I want to go eat or try coffee or whatever. And at the end of the day, if you are not getting it from one of those specific fields, you're more than likely not going to go try something new. And the reason is because they have not earned your trust yet. You guys have not built that relationship between each other. And if that relationship has not been built, then there is no reason to believe that if you spend your money or your time there, you are going to be compensated with an equal or better return. Let's look at friendships, relationships, in the concept of either someone you're dating or someone you want to date, or even in a business setting, really any type of relationship, right? If we're looking at those, we never really are able to ask someone something unless we know that when we ask it, they are more than likely to respond because there is that trust that has been established. Let's specifically look at the aspect of friendships or relationships. And not just relationships between people that are trying to date, but relationships between people who are in business together as well. When it comes to a friendship, if someone is a brand new friend, this is just a new friendship that you've just established, and they come in hot asking you every single intimate detail about your life, how's that going to make you feel? Do you feel like you're going to just be ready to spill everything and tell them everything? Or have they not built that trust yet? And therefore, you do not feel like they should know these things. Because ultimately, if you tell them these things, they might just go and tell everybody else or do God knows what with it. That shows us why, again, trust is foundational. Let's look at relationships. At the end of the day, how am I supposed to be with someone who I cannot trust or who cannot trust me? And this has to be complete and 100% unbreakable trust. There are so many things that go wrong in relationships because of the lack of trust. The less you've been able to build out this elemental piece in a relationship, the more likely you are to fail. Why? Because there are a lot of things that are done day to day that are not in the complete eyesight of someone else. Therefore, if someone doesn't know your character and they don't know what type of results you produce every single day as a person, the type of standard you hold yourself up to every single day, they won't know what you are capable of doing. At the end of the day, we're all human. We're capable of literally anything, no matter how much better we think we are than the person next to us or the person who's done A, B, or C. But in reality, The only way anybody can believe that we are actually not going to do something that'll harm them, whether it's emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, is by knowing your character and trusting in your character. Let's take my life as an example. I work in multiple fields where I speak to numerous people throughout the day, every single day. And if my wife did not trust me, then she would want to know who I'm talking to, what the conversations are like, are there any things that can be misconstrued as flirting, etc., etc., etc. And with my wife, I can feel the same exact way about anything that she does with the business that she takes on. But in reality, because that trust is built, it's been established, and we know each other's character, we never even think about questioning each other in that facet. And the reason we don't is because that trust has not only been built, it has been tried and true throughout all of the years of our relationship. And that's the thing about trust. It can be built initially, but the longer it stays there, the more likely it is not to be broken. Think about businesses between the seller and the consumer. If someone is selling something and us as the consumer do not believe that whatever they are selling will actually be delivered, then we will not buy it. I can tell you as a business owner, that is the number one thing that I always go for when I am trying to make sure that my clients know where I'm coming from. If I know that whatever I'm saying to them is not being believed, then I am more than likely going to fail. So my job is not to come in and sell a product or what I can do. It's to make sure that I know they know who they're dealing with. If they can trust me, then everything that I tell them afterward has actual value, has weight, has depth. But if they do not know who I am, then no matter what I say and no matter how strong my value proposition is, they will never buy it because they do not think that I will be able to deliver on what I say I am going to deliver on. People in general, whether it be in relationships, friendships, business ventures, whatever it is, have had some level of trauma, have been hurt in their life. Their life has not been completely perfect. They for sure have been screwed over at one point or another. We all have. It's something that we're unfortunately all way too familiar with. But your job is not to focus on what trauma they have had before. Your job is to focus on you and what you can do to make sure that that trauma they had does not affect what relationship you guys have in this very moment. But the only way you can do that is by being the most genuine person you could possibly be and showing them who you really are. Because you can try to fake it, and to some people it may actually work. You may actually be able to fool them into believing that you are something that you're not. Because it's not who you are at your core, it will catch up to you sooner rather than later. And regardless of how long you get away with it, one day someone is going to be able to see right through you. And one day the act that you've been putting on is going to come around full circle and catch up to you. And when it does, anything that you think you've built is going to crumble because that foundation was never true, it was never established, and therefore it cannot last. If you really want to make a difference in your relationships and make sure that people believe who you are, work on yourself. You have to be really critical with yourself. You have to ask yourself, what about me is untrustworthy? How can I eliminate those things? And what about me is trustworthy? How can I accentuate those things? Build on them, become a better person. If you cannot critically analyze yourself, then there's no way you can become the type of person that is trusted by a lot of people. Let's look at this YouTube channel. Some of you may know me, some of you might not. My goal is ultimately to have a lot of people that don't know me watching this channel. But the only way they're going to be interested in this channel is if they know who I am, if they can trust who I am. If I'm not showing them who Joe really is, then they don't know who they're buying into, and therefore they will not buy into it. They have to know and see the reality of what I can provide and what I am trying to accomplish. Two people I highly admire are Alex and Layla Hermosi. Not because they are extremely wealthy and because they're extremely successful in I'm not gonna say all their business ventures, because if you know their story, they've been through a lot, but they are extremely successful in general. But the reason I appreciate them so much is because when you watch them, you know they're genuine. You know who they are. And you can tell they're genuine and that they're true by their actions. They give away so much free content on a day-to-day basis and so many free tools on a day-to-day basis in order to make sure that they're helping those who have been in positions like themselves where they were struggling and didn't know where to go. They don't do this because they are looking for a sale. Yeah, obviously it's going to come back to them at one point or another. And if you know what they do, they can definitely help you. But that's not what they're looking for. They are actually out there just trying to be good people, putting out great information, hoping that by doing that, it builds good business habits, good business people, good human beings in general, and that all of that circulates and builds just an overall better environment. That's my goal too. I hope that with whatever I am putting out, you guys can see how genuine I am being in it. And that ultimately, although I am far from perfect and have just an absolute immense amount of things to still learn in my life, I am trying to be as valuable as I can possibly be to anybody who is looking for this type of information. And if I can help in any way, I hope that you can see that my goal is to provide that help and to make sure that I am a resource and an asset in your life. So thank you so much for sticking with me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and make sure that you're watching the next video, the ATM in 5, because I have some very important questions that you could ask yourself in order to make sure that you're developing into the type of person that can be trusted. So follow, subscribe, like, comment, do all the stuff, throw it on Instagram, throw it on Facebook, TikTok. I don't even use TikTok, but just do it if you have it. And I appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Peace.